Mute myself. All right. Somebody already came in? And so they're disappeared. Interesting. All right. So maybe I shouldn't have let them change their name. All right, guys, that's the bell. All right, so I'm gonna walk around, get your homework out. Guys, let's. I'm gonna wait for voices to be off. Okay, are we ready for class? Are we? Okay, so let's power through today. This is really kind of the last big day this week of like focusing on translation. We've done that Monday and Tuesday. So tomorrow we're gonna get kind of a break from that. We might have time to get into a little bit of chapter 4. We'll probably maybe try to do one translation tomorrow just to keep us fresh. But then we will mostly do the makeup. So the majority of you guys are going to take that quiz again. It is some of the easier chapter 1 through 4 words I can think of. It's the same quiz I took on the last Friday. If you come see me during essay and ask for a copy of that quiz, I might even give it to you, and then tell you to hang on to it and just bring it back in tomorrow and you can use that. But you probably don't need that because I think you're all going to do great the second time. Those of you who have the higher C or higher, you're not going to retake that. And then we're going to talk about some like myth history 101 kind of stuff. So that'll be a nice change of pace. We've been really grammar focused, really focus on the actual language. So we'll do something like this almost every week. And then Friday is going to be like the same Friday as last time. The only thing is you guys are going to have to reproduce a chart just like this. You're all going to do really good. Should I check those chats or like? I guess I will. OST must int. And then you're going to write the pronouns. You? No, that's not how we spell you. He, she, it, we, y'all, they, singular, plural. I'll probably give you like a word bank with all of these little pieces in it. Like A is 1, B is 2, so on and so forth. D is O. And then you're going to just like use that word bank to autofill a chart that I kind of give you. I'll give you a skeletal version of it. It should be really easy, but I know for you guys in your first year, which is only a few in this class, even something like takes a second to learn. What was that noise? Somebody else. Let me check my chat real quick. What's going on in this chat? If they're just chatting amongst themselves, that's fine. Oh, hello. Caitlin and Ella are there. Maybe that's it. All right. I just always wonder if people are like asking a question or they're like, we can't hear you. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to walk around. If I see that you do not have homework, you do not get points. If you have no homework at all, that means you get 0 points until tomorrow, in which case if you show me that you've done it by tomorrow, you get half points. That's like the late policy for homework. Just don't be late. Do your homework. It's one assignment a week. So it'll be really surprising to me if people have not done most or all of this. Who wants to read number 1 real quick? This is actually, all these sentences are from like a passage in chapter 3. At the end of chapter 3, at the end of every chapter, there's like usually like a paragraph of Latin, right? There's a lot of like sentences in each chapter, but then at the end they give you like it's called a reading, like a paragraph. And so I actually just broke up a paragraph into little chunks. That's why there's kind of like a pattern going on with the way they're speaking in 1 through 3. They're kind of like meditating on this one. Okay, some people have not done that. All right, who wants to read number 1? What is going on, guys? Why did you not do your homework? That is crazy. Okay, I can see that. Very good. Who can read number 1? Good job. All right, maybe only 2 people. Still bizarre to have any people not doing their homework. You trying to get a pass. I thought you were doing it. You know, you got to translate. You know that? Okay, I feel like I said that before. All right, who can read number 1? Let's have is it Abby? No. With what? Kylie. Why do I think I'm an Abby there in another class. Kylie, sorry. Go ahead, please. Thank you. Very good. What did you get for this, Kylie? Having trouble reading it or what? Okay. So I'll be lenient about the first month or so, but then when I ask people to do translations for homework, that really means that you have to have a like, prepared translation. Meaning, like, whether it's wrong or right, I don't care, right? Like, I don't care if it's wrong, it's fine. But you need to, like, be willing to read it in class. So that's, like, what your goal for homework should be is that, like, even if you're like, okay, this translation probably at least a little bit wrong, but I'm okay with reading this aloud in class, that should be your benchmark for, like, how much work you need to put in your translations. Get it to the point where you're like, hey, even if it's a little bit wrong, I'm okay with reading this aloud. But anyway, that's okay. I know it's, like, the first month. Kind of like, Katie? Yes, please. Very good. Wait, you said the who does that? Oh, that's the only thing. So you're getting Nauta and Agricola mixed up. So it's not the sailor does that, but the farmer praises both the life and fortune of the sailor. So you might have swapped those. And I kind of get why that might have happened. So first of all, here's a note here. Even though we're checking the homework and marking up the homework heavily and making all the notes that I'm making on the board while we go over this and like make a correction, you might also still have your like notes out. Because here's a little note. When et shows up twice, this is kind of rare. It doesn't happen a whole lot. When it's like this, you can kind of just tell, like, we don't need an and in front of we tom. We tom and fortunom are going together. I'll just say that now. So why would we say, like, the farmer praises and the life? No. So the first et, when it happens like this, when you have two of them really close to one another, and the first one feels a little superfluous, a little extra, treat it like both. So both blank and blank, right? Is that gonna make sense? It's not too weird. That's just like a weird little quirk of that. So I've already given away what we tom and fortunom are, but that is the question below the translation. I want you guys to answer those questions before you do your translation because they can help with your translation. Macy, so what are we tom and fortunom in terms of case and function? Yes, they're accusative direct objects. Exactly. Okay. Hopefully, we're getting used to those an endings being accusative direct objects. I'm sorry that I typoed a little bit when I singled out Fortuna below the translation. I turned it into just Fortuna, but it's still been Fortuna as the translation. But you know, I'm just doing weird. Or you just put it out and check it. I think that'll be more interesting than just chilling out in first period for some reason. Okay, so Agricola should somewhat clearly be the subject. It's the first noun we see. It ends in something that can be nominative. So why isn't it nominative? Let's check our verb. Laura, what is the verb? If people sleep repeat in my class, I promise you I will have to do something that involves Killingsworth or parents. So what is the verb in this sentence, Laura? Cool, good effort. Maddie, what do you think?
The verb?
Yeah, where's the verb? What do you think? The noun? Yeah, it's loud dot. It's right where we want it. Remember? So we love these kind of Latin sentences. They're not all going to be like this, where we have a subject at the beginning and a verb at the end. But when we have it, we should really enjoy it. And because it's like a structure that we should start to already be getting pretty used to. So it's the verb right at the end. The last word. Is it first, second, or third person? Yeah, because OST, 1, 2, 3, the T is third person. So it agrees with farmer. So farmer definitely is the subject. And then the only thing that's tricky about this is now tie, right? We have this compound direct object with these AM endings that we should also be kind of getting used to. But then what is now tie? What case is now tie? What is it doing grammatically? Taylor? Yeah, I think genitive is the only thing that makes sense because we decided we already have a subject. So it's not like it's nominative plural. That would be weird. We already have a singular subject. We need a singular subject, not a plural one. And then dative, nah, I don't think the sentence is the kind of dative having sentence. It's not complicated enough to have a dative. We're not giving any direct object to the singular. So yeah, it's possessive. It's not just the life and fortune. It's both the life and fortune of the sailor that is genitive. So there you go. Raise your hand if you got pretty close. I know if you didn't talk to me in like essay or something, you wouldn't have known about the both white and white. So other than that, only 4 o'clock people? Well, 6, 7, 8. Here we go. Yeah, okay. Y'all just start.
All I did, the only mistake I did was armor in the city of space.
So that's weird. Then you do the same thing Kata did. I kind of get why that happens, but our subject's probably more likely to be on the far left. Whereas, so genitive can be possessive of a noun on either side of it, but usually, there's a lot of usuallys in Latin. Genitive is possessive of the thing to its left. So I like to draw an arrow like this to say Malchi is possessive of Fortunum and Vitam, but that's usually the case. It doesn't have to be, but that often is. So if you see something that can be genitive to the right of a noun, it might be genitive and possessive of that noun to its left. Yes? Uh-huh.
Earlier you said if you didn't have your you did it right, you would be able to send that.
No, like, so you can't, I might have enough copies. But if you really want, if you don't want to just study that huge chunk of like 50 words, which is a lot, you can like just take this quiz and see exactly what words you're going to be quizzed on. You can't write anything on it, right? But if you have that and you show up the next day with that and it's still blank, you can just, that will be the quiz you take. I mean, I'm basically giving you the grade by doing that, but I'm not going to force it on you, only if you want to play on easy mode. But that way you know exactly what 20 I am picking. So remember, it's like Fama, Agricola, Populus, Philia, Opulus, Homo, Doe, Video, Sum, Epicus. That's 10 of them. It's words that are pretty simple, so you probably don't need it, but if you think you do, I guess you can get it. All right, any questions on this one? All right, who can read number 2? So already with number 2, we're going to notice that there's kind of a pattern going on. There actually is like a thesis statement to this reading, which is a fancy way of saying there's like a theme or an idea that's being expressed. So sometimes we translate things where we can actually talk about it as though it's literature, because it is literature. We're going to be reading a lot of passages by this guy Cicero we'll talk about. Not so much Julius Caesar, Virgil a little bit, who's a poet. But anyway, you read more and more of that stuff as you go through Latin. All right, who can read number 2? What's your name again? Devin. I know it forever now. Devin, since it's your first week, but not your first Latin class, go ahead and read this in Latin. Good. Poetae stipe laudat. Good. Let's see the pattern.
I haven't even done it yet.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We can ask Caitlin and Ella stuff. I'm going to ask some stuff about this sentence in a second. But what did you come up with for this, Devin? Yeah, you can say poet's life or the life of the poet. Very good. So once again, we have a compound direct object in the middle. This time, one of them has an adjective modifier. So it's not just any fortune, it's great fortune. So that's not too bad. If you were like really comfortable with the first sentence, this one should have like fell into place pretty quickly for you. Good. I'm gonna get to the translation in a second, but those are what case, just to be sure, Devin? Not so magnum, fortunum, and vitam. You're probably thinking of the right case, but you're saying the wrong one. They are what case? Not genitive, but no. Let's see. So you might. Well, you probably just need to brush up on your cases. They've been drilling it for a few days before you joined us. But what case are those with the A in any, Caleb? Yeah, it's this thing right here. So we saw first declension accusatus in the last of the 2, and they were in the same place. So once again, those are direct objects. Caitlin or Ella, I think we can hear you. What's the case of poetae there after the direct object?
I wasn't able to print them because my printer isn't working still.
Okay, I don't blame you. Printers seem to never work, but in that case, you probably should. It wouldn't have taken you too long to just write them down on the notebook, but that's okay. I know you guys are kind of like well, you'd be a class behind if you weren't Zooming, but when you're Zooming, I guess you are kind of on track with us. Ella, is your mic on? What case of poetae? No, maybe not. I think Ella, for some reason, we have trouble with her mic, and it might be my fault. So Ella, if you're very frustrated right now and you're trying to talk and we can't hear you, I'm sorry. It's probably my fault somehow. I don't know why. Let's see. 1 second, real quick. Because we get Ben on the mic. No, I need to look at participants, and then I could ask you to unmute, but do I have to ask you? Oh, wait, I'm just muting you now. Sorry. Oh, you there? Last try.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, barely, but kind of. What case is poeti?
I think it's gender.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So y'all probably couldn't hear, but so what case is it, Carson?
I think it would be genitive.
Yeah, it's genitive, just like we had a genitive noun in the same place last time. So what's the first sentence? It's the farmer often praises the life and fortune of the sailor. Now we're saying the sailor, however, often praises the great fortune and life of the poet. So what's the kind of idea here? It's a really kind of, it's a cliche idea, but like what is this kind of like, you hear it a lot, like one of those things. No, exactly, the grass is always greener on the other side. It's that kind of thing. It's like sailors think that well, and so far from farmers think sailors have all this adventure, I guess they have all this adventure like traveling, whereas sailors actually think he's a poet. So it's kind of a circle between a poet, a sailor, and a farmer. So it's kind of a tweak on the grass is always greener. Like the grass is always greener on like another hill, and then that person, their grass is always greener on like a third hill. Anyway, I'm killing that metaphor, but yeah, poeti is genitive here, so it's possessive of the compound direct object. And then Saipe is an adverb modifying loud dot. He's not just praising. The sailor is often praising. Any questions on this one? Does it kind of help to like see two sentences that kind of fit the same pattern with very minor variations, and kind of like that way you kind of get used to how the grammar is working? Okay, good. Let's see. This one is also pretty similar. Pretty very similar. Who can read? Oh, this one has one weird thing though. There's one weird thing going on that even I don't really love. Now, do you want to read this one? You're doing fine. Et poeta vitam et agros agricolae laudat. You were doing fine. What's your translation for that?
The poet, I cannot read it.
Okay, work on your handwriting. Danny, say it one more time. The farmers and the fields. Very close. You're kind of putting out vitam a little bit. It's not that the poetry of the farmers and the fields. Let's see. But you're right. He does praise the fields.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's something different in the sentence. Hayden, what word did you kind of leave out? Yeah, so the poet praises the not the farmers. He praises the life and the what grace? The fields, because life and fields, vitam et agros, are what case, Grace? Why is that the thing the subject is verbing? Because they're what case? What function? What kind of object? Yeah, they're direct objects. Yeah, those are the direct objects. So they tweak the difficulty slightly in this sentence. Because at first we were having, we had two compound direct objects in a row. Both of them had singular first declension nouns in them. Now one of them is still first declension accusative, where the other one is second masculine accusative plural. So we're probably not as used to OS, but OS is actually also a direct object in it. So we're going to have the subject, which is the poeta. Okay, each time so far we've had a subject spelled out for us. It's a singular perfectly nominative. They're praising these two direct objects, life and fields. And now what does agricolae do? Because that's the one mistake Danny made. She kind of left out vitam, and she thought agricolae was also a direct object. Agricolae with the AE can't quite be a direct object. I get why you did that. But what's agricolae here, anyone? It's the third time we've seen this case today, Riley. Let's see, both or either. It does mean farmer or farmers, and so what case or function does it do? Yeah, good. I love that Riley even kind of displayed for us the thought process there. She was like, hold up, let me look at the chart. It's either nominative plural. Oh, wait, we already have a nominative subject. It's not nominative plural. Maybe it's genitive. Oh, yeah, I think it's genitive. Again, I don't think it's dative. We do hate the AE. It's the worst ending. AE and UM are the worst endings by far. They show up in too many places. But you see how it's often not that hard actually to figure out what it is. It's not going to be an indirect object, okay? The verb phrase, that's not the kind of verb that takes you to direct object. You don't phrase a direct object to something. You just phrase a direct object. Indirect objects never show up when you're phrasing something. Remember, we have a dative. It's probably because we have the verb goes our way. Dot, right? Dot, as in dative, as in he or she did. Anyway, it's not that. It is just genitive. So it's going to be what? It's the fields, what, Riley? The fields, how do we translate? Fields blank the farmers. That's your two-letter preposition. Of the farmer. Yeah, and since it's genitive, it's almost singular. So it's fields of the farmer.
I think I know how to
it's
fix
not
your
a
mic.
proverbial farmer, like they're not talking about one farmer, they're talking about one farmer. So yeah, finally the Poeta praises the life and fields of the farmer, and this is actually true. So there's the translation. I'll go back to just the translation. But there's this genre of poetry in Greco-Roman literature. Okay, starting around, going back even before the 5th century, before Rome was even really a major player. It's called pastoral poetry, where Greek poets would sit around in fields, either as sheep or goat herds, or maybe they were hanging out with sheep or goat herds, and they would write about how simple life in nature is, how great nature is, and they would glorify nature. That's a theme in literature going back thousands of years. It comes up again a couple hundred years ago when we started having the Industrial Revolution. Because people were like, oh, we got these big factories and cities. Now we got to return to nature. But even back then, cities like Athens and big metro areas like Athens would have people saying, you know what's really good in life? Nature. And going out into the fields and the farmland and stuff like that. So that was a big theme in poetry. Virgil, before he writes Aeneid, which we'll talk about tomorrow, writes a lot about being a farmer and how that's the simplest, pure version of life and existence. And how nature is just really great. Does anybody have any questions on this sentence? So we basically see the same pattern 3 times. Now, I said there's something weird about this one that even I don't like, but I think I'm just overcomplicating. So we do have 2 X here, but I actually don't think that first one needs to be so. Because it's in front of the subject, I think we're just starting the sentence again. Because this is after a semicolon, right? Teachers sometimes teach you to not start your sentence with and. If your English teacher, like Mr. Paul says, to do that, listen to her. But it turns out you actually can start sentences with and. It's fine. So here it can just be and the subject praises the life and the fields of the farmer. And we actually don't need any of them to be both. But if you did one of them as both, it might have been because I said so. Because at first I was thinking it would be both, the life and the fields. Okay? They both praise the what? Okay. So you thought like Poeta was possessive of Litom and Agricola was possessive of Agros. I see why you thought that, but there's no way this could be genitive. It would have to be Poetai or Poetorum. So yeah, basically the only thing this guy could be is the subject. But you probably thought that because of what I was talking about, because you were thinking of the both ... and construction. So you were like thinking on how to work that into it. So I get why that happened. But yeah, Poeta is just a subject. You gotta notice I keep the subjects just black. I change the colors of other cases, but I'll keep the subjects in the normal font color. Let's see. Okay, yeah, remember the genitive is possessive of the thing in front of it. Loud dot, is it first, second, or third person? First, second, or third person? I'm not forget about.
Use high def. That's the one that we use.
Okay,
That's the one that I use, high def.
First, second, or third person?
Can you hear me, Caitlin?
Good. Yeah, third. OST. 1, 2, 3. It's third, so it's useful to what?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I told you those ones work.
Missed the day for yesterday. Okay. When you miss a day, you usually get like a day.
Those speakers are working
To turn
now.
something in late, like you're excused by like 1 day per how many days you missed. If that makes sense. So yeah, bring it tomorrow, and then it's on you to remind me. I can't always chase down people to ask for their late homework. If I don't see it tomorrow, I'll have to give you a score so you didn't do it. Okay,
As long as
we're
it
almost done. It's just like the second to last one. Just read this one. So this one, we got some new stuff going on. This one's going to be a little different. Let's see here.
My puppy Margie.
Ada, can you read it loud, please?
My puppy is precious. My puppy is cute. Why am I trying to rhyme but I can't? I'm weird.
Good. Sine, Philosophia, Awari, Weary, De Pecunia, Semper Cogitant. We have two of a case that we've not seen too much of showing up. This is kind of new for us. Do you want to share your translation, Aiden, or do you not? Okay, thank you.
Just say it, Ella.
Oh, you're really close. Yeah, you just didn't like quite get the word order in the right place, the right way. But you were like close. I can tell you were like circling the right translation. I want to hear everyone who has their hands up right now. I want to hear your translation. So that's Devin, Natalie, Kaylin, Macy, and Carson. Let's just go through. I won't say if you're right after you say it. Let's hear all of them first. So Devin, what you get? Okay, Natalie, what you get? Okay, Kevin, what you get? And Carson?
The greedy men. Oh wait, without philosophy, the greedy men always think.
Okay, and is it 8 then? Oh, okay. Okay, I think all of y'all got that exactly right, except you got Philosophia mixed up with Sapientia. Sapientia is wisdom. Philosophia is just philosophy. But anyway, so if y'all heard yourself, like you're all right. You're all exactly right. So before I put their translation on the board, which I will in a second, what case is Philosophia? Like I said, it's a case we have not seen too much, or we haven't like paid too much attention to it. So no. Macy. Good. It is ablative, okay? So sine is one of our prepositions. We only have 3 prepositions right now. We have sine, which means without. We have in, that means in. And we have de, that means from or about. So de is the hardest one because you have to try out from and about. But here it's just without philosophy. And Macy must have known it was ablative pretty quickly, hopefully, because she saw that macron over the a. It could only be ablative. Like it has to be. So it's the object of sine. When sine, in, or de show up,
I can't
they're
hear
gonna
you.
have an ablative. They don't all
I
have
thought
an
it
ablative,
worked.
but the masculine version is macron over the o, and then the plurals are those e's and things that could also be dirty. Okay, anyway, so without philosophy, that's ablative. And then what's the subject here? What's the subject? All of our translators knew the subject. It's pretty impressive. Because he's not the leftmost noun this time. This time the leftmost noun is philosophy. Then we have, what's the subject making? What? Let's see. It's not a first person. And by that, I guess I mean like what words make up the subject. So y'all come back now. And what kind of men? Yeah, so does everyone see how greedy men go together? Awari, weary. So Natalie must have said, what's their noun? Okay, it's not philosophy. Philosophy is not nominative. What's the next noun? Oh, it's weary. And weary.
Don't tell me you broke it.
And that long I means if it is the subject, it's a plural one. So it's greedy men. Does everyone kind of follow that? Because that is a little harder than the first 3, where it was like right at the beginning. And then she probably compared it to her verb, which is cogitant. Richard, what is the person of cogitant? Is it first, second, or third person? Singular, plural. Yeah, good, because that has the N. So it does agree with greedy men. It agrees with the plural third person greedy men subject. So greedy men think, and then we just have 3 more words in the middle to take care of. And once you know your verb is think, it kind of falls into place, right? You know it's not think from. It's got to be think about. We think about things, not think from things. So think about money always, or always think about money. In what case is pecunia? Last question. Agreements of subjects. They think often, right? Like our adverbs being a short version. They don't like have to be. Pecunia is what, Caleb? It's another ablative. So I made it a second shade of green. Okay, so here we have an ablative object of day. Ablative object of sine. Ablative object of day. Not too bad, right? Ablatives are kind of chill. They're really not that hard. They just kind of come up with something
I knew you were kidding all
dative and
along.
ablative, though, they kind of do their own little thing, separate from being subject service together with the direct object. Any question on this one? So maybe warmed up by those first three similar sentences, and this one didn't phase you too much. 10 minutes. See, I probably should. I guess I should like pay for. It's not that much, but like, I guess I am cutting short the recording by. I mean, we'll be done with the fifth one. Yeah, we'll be done, so it's fine.
We still have 9 minutes though.
You know,
Are you kicking us off?
5 minutes of class. So either I should start a little late, or I should pay for the full subscription, or
We should start early.
we're almost done, right? We're like basically done. Who can read the last? Let's
Why you private chatting me?
have Maddie Dugan, and then Carson will maybe be one of the translators. Okay, so there definitely is some kind of tricky stuff going on here in terms of the, like, number 4 was kind of like giving us some new stuff with the ablatives. This one is like giving us a whole different kind of sentence structure. It's kind of hard. Now, do you want to share your translation, or the last word? It means like to satisfy. Let's see, Carson, what did you come up with?
I got, but without much money, the greedy man is not satisfied.
Without much money. Greedy. Are you looking back at number 3?
No, I'm looking at number 5.
Okay. This one is hard. Who else has a translation? Natalie? Okay. I'm going to resist saying if it's right or wrong, because I like to hear everyone's translation. Danny, what you get?
They have much, for number 5, they have much money but nothing.
True greed. Interesting. That might be the one issue. Ava? Okay. And then let's hear Maddie Fisher.
They have a lot of money to satisfy the greedy.
Close. So you didn't really get with the first 3 words, and then you kind of lost the follow it. So it looks like Natalie and Ava got it perfectly, and Maddie and Danny got really, really close. What'd you get? Dugan? So what I think happened with you, maybe, and this is easy, it's an easy thing, is that
Ella, did you say something?
yesterday, when they are really big, look for things like a comma, and if the comma especially is coming after a verb, you know that you basically have 2 sentences pretending to be one. You should treat them as 2 sentences, or else it's going to feel overwhelming. So let's just take care of these first 3 words, because there's actually a decent bit going on with those 3 words. All right, I see a noun, I see an adjective, and I see a verb. So what's going on here? Multiplicunion. Maybe those go together. Is this actually tight? Is it multom am on y'all's? Good. Okay, it should be. Ugh. Okay, let's just pretend it is. I won't change it in the thing. Or maybe I should for the online kids. Online kids, we still got 6 minutes. We're good. Anyway, let me change that to A. Okay, so at the very least, once I fix my typo, we can tell that multom and pecunion go together, right? What are they doing? That's one noun phrase altogether. What case are they? And it's kind of surprising to see this case, because all in the first 3 sentences, we kept seeing nominatives. Taylor, what do you think they might be? Yeah, maybe we're starting with our direct object. That's kind of weird. And then we have the verb. What person and number is haben? First, second, or third person? Natalie? It's third plural, good, but do we have a third person plural subject? Do we have a nominative plural? I don't think so. So what Natalie and Ava did is they just used the pronoun what? What did y'all use? they. Yeah, y'all just use they because you were like, I don't see a nominative plural. And this happens a lot, especially like, remember, this is supposed to all be one paragraph. But the subject from number 4 is still the subject. We're just going to refer to them as they. If you remember, the subject number 4 was greedy men. We're still talking about the greedy men, but we don't have to write awari weary out again. We're just going to see our verb as third person plural and be like, oh, we're talking about they. The they from the last sentence, which is greedy men. So they have a lot of money or much money. I'm actually okay with what Maddie Fisher did, saying like a lot of money. That's actually fine because that's like how we talk in English. A lot is the way we often say much money. Nathan, what is that marker? It's marker. Okay, well, it kind of freaked me out for a second. Well, don't play with marker like that. So they have much money. The they from the last sentence. Y'all get how that works because that is kind of a weird trick. You realize the verb is third person plural, but you don't see a nominative plural, so you're just going to use they. Does that kind of make sense to y'all? Because it's actually kind of like an advanced trick. But we have said, but nothing satisfies the what? Nothing satisfies the. There's our subject. They're spelled out, but instead of the subject, this time they are the what? What is Viram Awara? What case are they? Is what I mean. Like, I got new math today, and the rubber bands are so tight on my ears. It's crazy. I know they'll be like loose again in a couple days. Whoa. So, but nothing. So nothing's the subject, right? We know that nothing can do whatever it wants. Here, I can just kind of tell it's the subject. Satyat is third person singular. And then Viram Awaram is what? Nothing satisfies the greedy men. In what case are Viram Awaram? Last question. Kevin? Good, they're accusative. So, just to show you guys, this is just the first 3 words isolated.
Look, everybody
Sorry
else.
for the
Look,
marker.
Ella, I'm wearing a face mask.
They have a lot of money. That's all that is. Those 3 words, they have a lot of money. They have much money. Then we get to this part, but nothing.
I'm Prancer.
But nothing satisfies the greedy man. Good. The greedy man is a direct object. So we actually have 2 direct objects in this sentence, which is kind of cool. Any questions on that?
You're not even in quarantine anymore.
Did we finish?
We're not
translation from the
stuck
other
in our houses for the rest of our lives anymore, are we?
We did. We got all the way through 11. We did. Okay. Then I am basically out of stuff to teach y'all today, which is fine.
They are now done.
Not really. But anyway, online people, I might drill verb endings with them or chapter 2 vocabulary on Quizlets. In fact, let's do that right now. Yeah, well, you can say hi, and then let's keep going. We got 3 more minutes, so we might as well go all the way. But,
You can say hi to everybody.
Maddie, say hi.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, like that. Okay, one of them is a reindeer. That's cool.
I'm Prancer. What do you mean?
You're Prancer specifically. Okay, wow.
But I'm using a video filter.
All right, we're gonna do one more thing. If
I'm
it's
gonna be a tiny mouse now.
hey, mouse, oh, cool. But yeah, we're basically done for the day. It's gonna cut off in 2 minutes, but I'll do some vocab.
I'm gonna be like everybody else and wear a mask.
Yeah, why not?
At least I can still breathe.
Yeah,
I don't like those ones.
they are not fun.
I'm a little mouse. That's
Caitlin's a
lot.
mouse now. Say hi.
That's actually.
I
I'm a
don't
little mouse.
have those options on my phone.
That's actually easier for me to die now, though.
Okay, we're gonna run through these. Y'all call them out too if you know them.
I don't get how mice are so dumb running into these like little traps. Like we have a million. Maybe I should do that.
Really? Huh.
You okay?
All right, guys. I said we're basically done. All I ask, let's
But
run
it'll at least cut my finger and my
quick,
toe off.
and then let's run through our verb part real quick, and then I'll let you just hang out
Oh no.
for 5 minutes.
Okay,
I thought
I'm good.
it would go longer. Are you sure we did the whole backside?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. What
no, I
is
can't
trauma?
Oh.
Right?
I know this.
Rumor. Yeah. Actually, let's do something else. Voices
Ouchie.
off. Voices off. Stop talking.
I got a boo boo.
Let's do something else. I want you to
I'm
read
so
it
weird.
and think you know it, so I can see how many people know it, and just be honest. Don't raise your hand if you don't, like if you know don't know it, and raise your hand if you know it. So Fama, who all knows Fama? Okay, so that's only like half the class. I'm kind of surprised. Guys, this one is an easy one. It can just be translated as fame, all right? So Alora, what is Fama? Good. So it can be other things too, like rumor and stuff, but fame is the easiest thing to remember, so maybe just remember that one. All right, who all knows Forma? We saw Forma yesterday, right? Form can be a few things, but most simply it's what shape. It can just be form or shape or beauty, okay? But I mean, it most simply can just be form. So like, bam, that's easy. All right, Fortuna. What is Fortuna, Maddie?
Hello. Really? I'm a little
Yeah,
mousy
Fortune.
that just got his milk.
Like in chapter 2, they're purposely giving us a lot of nouns.
I'm a little
just
mousy
like what
that
they
just